Okay, this is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. Taking a look at a piece of property here, and Blake, I appreciate you letting me look at this, and I'm going to do my best to kind of talk about a few different things here about it. Completely ignore all these place markers. Them are just for my reference. Some stuff I found, and that way I know where it's at, and it doesn't take me forever to locate it all. So completely, well, I don't guess completely ignore them, but we're going to talk about them, the areas that they're in and stuff here in a minute. So first, we'll talk about this is a public property here. So we need to keep that in mind as we're hunting it and building a plan and a strategy and whatever. That there's, likely to have, there could be at times a lot of people accessing this area. So at them, when there are, we need to look from the main access points and stuff, where these people may be coming in at. Obviously off of the roads, people are likely to access off of these roads here. And I know that ain't right down the road, but there, and then maybe even along here. And then it looks like there's a trail here that runs back in here somewhere, and it's somehow maybe right here. Okay, maybe this is the trail. There's a trail goes through here. It looks like, I think, here that runs to this house here back here. So that may be an access point, or this could be private. I don't know that for sure, but definitely, if there's a lot of people, knowing and looking at where these people may be coming in at is going to be key to how you would hunt this, because depending on the wind direction and stuff, a lot of guys, especially if it's an opening morning of gun season or a permit hunt where there's a lot of guys coming in hunting on a particular day or two, you can if the wind is right, you can actually use them guys to drive deer to you, and that can definitely help. I mean, basically it's kind of like this. I mean, let's just say that we had a southeast wind or something, and that there's a lot of guys going to access off of this main road here. So you would want to get in early and get back deep, and as these guys come in, their scent and stuff are gonna push deer, back in towards bedding areas and stuff. And we're gonna talk about bedding areas in a minute, but no different than if there was a lot of guys accessing here, coming in this direction, and and you had a east wind or whatever. But one thing when you look at this, that you kind of want to look at the and break it down into zones. People, a lot of guys will hunt close to the road, within probably 200 yards. Most of your activity is going to be within 200 yards of this road here, of these roads and these access points and stuff. So what the heck happened there? So this outer band here, even if we went 300 or 400 yards, most people will not go beyond 300 and 400 yards into the woods. So if we're looking for bucks and older deer as the season wears on, these deer are going to get back away from these areas where these people are hunting all the time. So if you break this down into zones here, actually let's change colors and we'll just kind of draw out. There's going to be, this is going to be a really hot zone where a lot of guys, are here. Here, up in here. You know, same thing on this side of the road. I mean, we just understand that. And just because it is doesn't mean that there aren't big deer in here and that you can't kill them, because you definitely can. I've killed deer so close to the road you could tell what people were wearing driving down the road. But you need to understand, you know, what's going on. You got to understand the strategy. Okay, so you're going to have a lot of guys hunting here. And then here, as we get out deeper into the woods, you know, well, actually that block's only going to run like so. This area here, you know, something like this here, I would say. You know, I would say something like that. This one here, pretty much, you know, the whole thing here. And let me change colors again here because we have this road here. So all this here is going to be red. There's going to be probably quite a few people hunting this. If I'm looking for big bucks that aren't disturbed, I'm really looking, you know, unless I have a large area of heavy cover that's very thick and it's a large area, I'm going to look beyond. Am I still in the red? I'm going to look beyond the red, possibly in the yellow, but out here beyond this is where most, if you're going to find big bucks, you know, and as the pressure wears on, these are the areas where you're going to find the deer. You know, the heavier congregation of deer, maybe possibly, you know, back in here. You know, because we're getting pretty good ways off the road. We're getting, this actually looks like it's somewhat flat, so it looks like it's pretty easy to walk. But it looks heavily forested, and there's a lot of things going on. So, and there's some thick areas. I did notice that, and I've got some of this stuff marked out. So basically, you know, early season, there's probably these areas here are probably going to be good. You know, that's close to the road, within the first few days or whatever. If this is heavily hunted, these areas, you know, are going to get hunted pretty hard. And then, you know, then we're looking back into here a day or two later, you know, back in the yellow area. And then as season really wears on, we're going to be looking into the green area. Okay. And that is how you can kind of lay out, you know, on this property, which is relatively, you know, I'm not sure. The entire public land here is massive, so this may not get hunted that heavy. If it doesn't get hunted that heavy, then it all may be really good. But if it does get hunted heavy, honestly, the whole area is not very large, you know. But it's got some unique things that I think is going to pick it up. But I think as season drags on, if this is getting hunted heavy, most of your deer activity later in the season is going to be back, you know, pretty deep back in these areas where these deer can get away from this heavy hunting pressure. Okay, they'll kind of push them back pretty deep in the woods as far as daytime movement goes. I hope that makes sense to you. Now, I do want to talk about why I have these yellow markers here. I'm going to go back here, and the reason I have them here is there was all logging has went on. I mean, look here in 2006, this is fresh cutting here. here, and this was done. You see, this here was done in 2000, probably 2007, 2008, somewhere between 2006 and 2007. This is no different back in here. They've went through and selective cut. Actually, possibly, hang on, look here. Let me zoom back in here. Possibly they cut some back in here. I overlooked. Well, I don't know. Yeah, I don't. No, they didn't. Okay, they didn't cut nothing back in there, but they definitely have done some cutting and some timber work in these area here, up in here, right in this area. There's a band through here, and then there's a band through here, which should produce some good undergrowth, a lot of food, and then now probably some good bedding area with food and everything all in one area. If I was hunting this area, I would definitely be, if I was gun hunting it at all, if it was any gun hunting, if I was gun hunting this at all, I would be looking in these areas here for some stand locations. If these are thick bedding areas, especially if these guys are coming in here and they're hunting this stuff and they're coming down, they're hunting close to these roads and things. These are the kind of areas where a lot of guys overlook because it's thick, it's bedding area. They're, oh my God, I don't want to get in the bedding area and don't want to disturb the deer. Problem is, there's so many people hunting it, the deer are already disturbed, so it doesn't matter. You need to get in there, get up high in a tree stand, and kill you a big buck when he comes through there in the daytime, running does, because that's where the rut happens. So these are definitely areas, if I'm gun hunting, I'm going to get in these areas and I'm going to hunt them hard and heavy in the rut. And if there is, like I said, if there is gun and a lot of hunting pressure, them first couple days, the first day, 2 days is going to be hot because they're going to push them deer in there. Them does are going to figure out, hey, there's something going on. After that first day, that second or third day is going to get really good because all them deer are going to push into that really thick area, and the bucks are still going to breed the does. They're going to chase the does. They're going to run them around, but they're going to stay within that really thick, heavy cover. And a lot of times, that's when your gun season falls, right in the middle of the rut. The deer get pushed up in there. They're there. They're going to do their breeding. This area over here is no different. It's the same thing. They've went in about the same time frame here, and you see here this is when they pretty much freshly cut it in 2006. 2003 it wasn't cut. Let's see here what we got. 2004, it looks like they actually cut it in 2004, so this should have some really good thick undergrowth here, and it looks like they've left some trees where you could possibly get some good stands in and get up and look down into this stuff as these deer, these bucks and stuff will run deer through. This one here, you've got water very close by. You've got food within it, food all around it at certain times of the year, and you should have deer in there. You should have deer, if it's thick, inside here, bedded down and stuff. Then we're going to be your bedding areas, and food and everything all within one deal. And then this is where you need to just kind of get in, take a look at it. Now, early season, I mean, if it was me personally, and this is the only area I had to hunt or something, I would get in here early season, hunt on the edges of these things. If I'm bow hunting or something, maybe hunt one of these water holes or something. But there's a lot of water in here. Maybe one of these openings. Check it out. But looking at this area, and excuse me for zooming in and out so much, but looking at this area here, when I look at it, I'm looking for, I see good rut stands. Just being honest with you. I see good rut stands in this here, in these areas, especially where I have some of these good tall trees like here. I've got some, I'm assuming they're tall. It's hard to tell for sure on aerial photo, but it looks like I've got some trees I can put some deer stands in anyways. I'm looking for as a good rut stand. Now if you're gun hunting at all, it's going to be really good because you can cover some distance here, especially if you can get high in a tree. If not, if you're not gun hunting it, then and you're just bow hunting it, that's where you want to really get in and find, you know, what kind of food sources are available inside of it. You know, do we have some oak trees scattered in here? If so, then you want to get in here and get set up on some of these isolated oak trees, and hunt them when the timing's right for them. And guys, if you're, you know, watching this video on YouTube, and I have a whole course on timing, online course on timing. And Blake, I don't know if you've seen any of them or not, but this really good course explains how the changes, how the deers change throughout the year with the way the food sources and stuff change, and it really helps a lot. And then, so as far as looking at this bedding area, food sources, stand locations, looks to me like really it's all pretty much the same. If you look here, let me get my pen back out here. All of this looks pretty much the same. I mean, this here's a little different here. All of this here is pretty much the same. So let's just say if this was all a huge oak flat, it wouldn't do me any good to come in here. I couldn't say, hey, right here's the spot, because there's no difference from here than here, or them two spots from this spot as far as the food source goes. Okay, the only thing that is different to me when I look at this area, it really stands out to me, are these areas that they've went in and cut, have created some thickets, created bedding areas, and both of them have water close by. So you've got food, cover, water, everything a deer needs. And these are these areas. Let me erase that last one. These are the three areas, or the three, I think it's more than three. These are the areas here I've pointed out, you know, up in here where they've done some cutting. Matter of fact, let's just go back here and we'll look at them in the time lapse where you can really see them. We'll go back on the time lapse here where we can really see these areas. You can see here, okay, this area here is pretty good size area. Now I really feel like, I mean, we're talking a pretty good size area here. Okay, you know, we've got browse, undergrowth, just small trees, different types of plants and weeds and whatever that's growing up from the ground here. We've got trees, whether there may be some acorns or not, you really have to just get in and look. Definitely deciduous trees where they're dropping their leaves, so there's probably going to be some oak trees in here. I could see that in the fall colors. I mean, there was definitely some fall colors, but there's just a variety of food in these areas. Okay, so these deer have food scattered all out through here. Okay, I mean, you just put food, there's food everywhere here. And then, you know, they have cover because of the thick undergrowth and stuff that should have come up here. So they have the cover all over, and then they have water here, all inside this. And this here looks like it's kind of open right through here, this little area here, and maybe even right there. And actually, there's a road, looks like an old road. Maybe you can't even drive down it. If you can't drive down it, that's good. because if you can't drive down it, then that red area that we drew out isn't there, and that yellow area only comes out into here. So the back of this thing is in prime hunting, you know, when we're getting deep in there. Okay, so let's look here. Let's just measure this out. We're just going to assume that you can't drive down this road. We're just going to assume that. Okay, and if that's the case, I mean, the back of this thing is 1,000 yards. You know, it's over half a mile, which is getting where not a lot of guys will go that far. Now, they will go further when there's a road like this they can walk down. If you were walking like right here through the woods, a half a mile deep is getting where most guys will never go that deep in the woods without being able to walk down something. Okay, so this is, you know, this is a pretty good looking area to me here as far as that goes. And if that's the case, you know, you're probably going to be some good deer back in here deep. Okay, they have everything they need, and then if it's deep like we talked about and you can't get here, they have the means of getting away from everybody. Okay, in this area over here, no different. Let's roll it back one year where you can really, you see here, this is cut. Another thing I like about this area is it wasn't all done at the same time. Okay, so it's been staggered. This area here has been staggered. This area to the south here, let's change colors. This area right here was thinned and cut, you know, a year or two prior, before this was back in here. So that gives a little bit different type of habitat. So there's pretty good diversity here. I mean, these are going to be taller. There's going to be more cover here. While there's still cover here, but there's going to be a lot more food in this back section up in here where it's all green, and this red area is going to be more of a cover, but still have some food in it. And I like that. So if you're looking, you know, when you're looking at other places like this, and I know, Blake, that, or at least I think that I know that the public land, I don't know if it's the same deal, but I know that this area, this whole thing is massive. I mean, there's a massive piece of public property here that is just absolutely giant. And if you're looking at areas, you can look at stuff like this here, and there's probably sections like this all over this thing that you could get in and hunt. And then you get in some of them areas where deer have everything they need. They need three things: food, cover, and water. Okay, and they have it all in a localized area, especially if it's protected and it's back way off of a road where not many people go or something, or if it's just absolutely gigantic. If it's a huge area of this timbered area where it's real thick, and I mean it's a big area, a couple 100 acres, you're going to have big bucks in there. You know, if they have everything they need, if they have food, cover, and water, and it's a big area, even if it's close to the road, even if it runs, you know, right up to the road, and it's a huge area, you're going to have big deer in there because it's just a massive area. It's almost impossible to get in there to them without alerting them, without letting them know that something's coming, because it's usually the areas are so thick you can't walk through them without making a whole bunch of ruckus, leaving a lot of scent. It's just difficult. And I show how I do it because these are the type of areas I hunt pretty much all the time. I show how I do it in my on one of my online courses, Finding and Hunting Mature Rutting Bucks. I show how I do it in there and talk about how I do it. So, anyways, Blake, you know, if you are hunting this entire public property, which I would think is probably close to 1 million acres or something, or at least several 100,000 acres, and I don't want to zoom out and show it because I want to keep this area disclosed. I don't want to disclose the area and show everybody where it's at, so I don't want to zoom out or nothing. We're going to stay zoomed in here on this smaller piece. So anyways, if you are, look for other areas like this here that I'm talking about, and you can set up. You could have a couple stands here. You could have a stand over here, and then over on the other side of this road here, this other area that's been cut. You could have a stand over there maybe, and then you could have some a few miles away or whatever in areas like this, and then you could hunt. Go in here and hunt a couple days. I mean, you can hunt this stuff in the. If you get several of these, you can hunt them year round. I mean, the whole season. You hunt this one here a time or two. Maybe you hunt the water a little bit. If it's hot and dry or whatever, you hunt the water source, and then you can go in and look at some of these areas, and maybe you can find a small patch of oaks inside of an area where the deer are really feeding a lot or it's dropping a lot. Stuff. There's just all kinds of things that you can look for inside these things to where deer have a destination spot that they're going to, just like the water here. The water inside this one, if it was right in the middle of this cover and you got this water right in the center and there's just a bunch of cover around it, that water would be really great spot to hunt, because at some point the deer are going to stop by and get a drink as they're mingling through. And the key about these areas, like I'm talking about, if any pressure's on, you can bet, if there's any pressure on the deer, you can bet they're going to spend 90 to 99% of their time inside these areas in the daytime during hunting season. So utilizing these areas is key, while most guys will hunt right on the edge, which is not a bad strategy. Hunting on the edge. I do it, get right on the edge of these things, hunt on the edge, because deer travel the edges a lot. Stuff like here, deer will travel these edges as they feed on a variety of food. So not a bad idea, but the guy that really gets in the center, especially when the hunting pressure's on, I feel like is way ahead of the game when it comes to getting them bucks that didn't get killed the first day or two, because they figure out what's going on and they stay in there all day long. And the does too. The older does will stay in there all day long too. They're no different. So and then you can pop trail cameras up on these edges. Good trail, because one thing you was asked about trail camera locations. One thing I would do, you go in these areas, you'll find these trails where these deer are using in and out. Their main trails, and there'll be trails all through here that they're using. But you'll see some of the main trails, some of the old rub lines and stuff. Them are areas where you pop trail camera up, leave it. You can pop it on a water source, any food sources inside here, which is, there's going to be food everywhere, but let's just say there was a little group of oak trees that's going to be dropping, September, early September or something, and you pop your trail camera up there if you want to see some of the deer that's in the area. The water source, pop it on the water source. If you have a set of stand up on some of the trails that's inside these, pop your trail camera up on them trails. But as far as exact stand locations, it depends on what you're hunting. If you're gun hunting, you have a lot of stand locations. Mainly you're looking for distance. If you're hunting with a high-powered rifle, you want to get in these areas, find you some locations where you can see a long ways and get shots for some distance. You want to utilize that firearm can cover a long distance. If you're hunting with a bow, you need to get on some tight spots, maybe the water sources. Get on some small patches of oaks here and there that are dropping on these rub lines that are coming in and out of here, and stuff like that. If this is the only area that you hunt, if it was me and it was the only area I hunt, I'm going to start, if it's the only place I had to hunt, I'm going to start by hunting the edges, as these deer will walk these edges. I'm going to start by hunting the edges. Early bow season, I'm going to come in here as I'm hunting and stuff. I'm going to be looking for fresh rub lines. If I find fresh rub lines, I'm going to jump on them dudes and hunt them. right then. I mean, if I'm walking out one morning and I bump up on a good rub line, and it looks like where he's coming out of that bedding area, say the rubs are facing the bedding area, the rub side of the tree is facing the bedding area, that's where he's coming out in the evening. I'm going to be hunting there that evening. I'm going to move my stand, and I'm going to get on there, and I'm going to hunt him that evening, because early season they're very predictable where they're coming in and out. Once the rut starts, I'm going to be inside that bedding area, period. You're not going to catch me hunting on the outside. Unless I just have an area that's just dynamite gun spot, and I was gun hunting or something where I could cover, 200 yards one direction, 200 yards another, where a lot of deer come out. But even then, I'm going to be hard pressed to get me out of the inside of these bedding areas. I think these are where most of your deer are going to bed. Unless you get back over in here or something. That there's some other, looks like that right over in here and stuff where they've done some more thinning or something. And I don't know the exact property line. Actually, you sent me the property line, but I didn't. I can't remember. I don't think it went all the way this far, but that's not where they thinned anyways. I was thinking it was. And you see here, I don't know why this is saying this is in June, but boy, that looks like a fall picture to me. Yeah, it really does. This one's in June, and this is saying it's in June. There's no way that's a June picture. Them trees are just fall colored up. So there's a lot of deciduous trees in here that are dropping, probably scattered oaks all through it, a variety of trees. So anyways, Blake, I hope this video helped you out. If you have any questions or whatever, shoot me an email. And this is the way I would hunt this. I mean, looking at aerial photo on this, if this was the only place I had, that's how I would hunt it. If I have other places to hunt, this area here, I'm going to be, depending on the weather and stuff, there's a lot to it. But, if the weather's right, I'd get back here and hunt that pond a little bit early season maybe. Problem is there's a lot of water in the area. So, it's not like you got the only pond for miles or the only water source for a mile or for a mile around. There's water all over the place. So, but if the weather was right, I may get in there early season, hunt some water. I may, hit the edges a little bit, but if I have other places to hunt, I would be looking for this spot here to hunt it hard and heavy in the rut inside this thick area, as these guys go to hunting these outer skirts and really pushing them deer inside there and keeping them deer what you call nocturnal deer, keeping them inside the bedding area. I'm going to get in there and hunt them hard. Because they're not nocturnal. They get up and they move in the daytime all the time. Even some big deer. I have pictures of them all the time. I've seen them several times. I have videos of several in the daytime, during the hunting season. Major hunting pressure going on. These deer they get up and they move. They just don't leave their... If they get it, they find areas like this where they have food, cover, and water, and they don't leave there. They stay in there. They don't have to leave. They have food, they have the cover, and they have the water. They have everything they need. They just won't get out. Okay, so I hope this video helped you. Like I said, if you have any questions or anything, anybody else that watched this video that stumbled upon it, I hope it helps you guys as well. I thank you, Blake, for letting me look at it and let me do a video analysis of the area. And if you, like I said, if you have any questions or whatever, if you have any other properties, I would highly recommend, because I briefly looked at the big area around this, and it's got some other spots like this, what I'm talking about, where there's this here, and you could get in and hunt one a day or two, move to another, hunt it a day or two, move to another, hunt it a day or two, and that keeps you from burning out one area, one spot or one area by doing that. And then even here, you can hunt this a day or two, hunt this a day or two, hunt this over here a day or two, if this is the only spot you have to hunt. So anyways, I hope everybody enjoyed it. This is Jacob Schmitt with deerhuntingschool.com. Check out more deerhuntingschool.com for more tips, information, and things like that on deer hunting. And I hope everybody has a good day. And Blake, I wish you luck, man. I hope you kill a good deer and several deer out of here. Have a good day, and bye-bye.